We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2018, and today we're talking about the 5 ways Jill and I think your land business needs to be adjusted for the 2024 and 25 real estate environment. Big changes are coming, and we'll talk about how we have adjusted our operation already and the plans that we have. Why? Because this is our 3rd time.
I know.
Our 3rd time going through a real estate economic downturn.
You know, it's hard to believe that I am this age. and
How old are you, Jill?
I'm not going to share that, but
I don't even know.
Let's just that's great. That's perfect. You know, my birthday, maybe not my birth year. That's okay. But yeah, that's the thing that that's why you're here and why we have our community and it's so strong. Like, and especially in times like this, they're looking to us right now going, what do we do? We're like, hold on a moment. Don't worry about this. We got this. We've done this, you know, and every time we get stronger and better. And I'd like to say that, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty coming up and we'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I'm not afraid. I'm cautious. How do I say this? I don't want to say I'm not cocky like, we got this. Heck no. But I'm like, all right, I know what to do. We know better what to watch for. We know things that trigger when we need to change and pivot. And that's, you know, what we're here to help you with and talk to you about today.
I don't believe that. You know, Jill and I have never been people who pat ourselves on the back and congratulate ourselves. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, we do have some version of a crystal ball here. It's the 3rd time. And we're seeing the same things happen to commercial real estate, the same things happening to the housing market and the land market. Mm-hmm. And we're watching it happen now for the 3rd time. The 2nd time around, I was like, I don't know if this is, it seems strange that it's similar. There's no uncertainty here.
True.
There's a bit of uncertainty that is very controllable. Let's put it that way.
Right. And we're here traveling the country, doing temperature checks on the whole country. By the way, I'm looking to see.
Literal temperature checks.
Literal temperature checks. I was looking to see. He may be even behind me. There's a fly fisherman working his way down the river behind us. We happen to be sitting outside of Creede, Colorado right now, and it couldn't be. You could probably see the water. You can definitely see trees and lovely nests behind us, but it couldn't be more dreamy.
Wow, Jill, you seem so calm. We're going into this real estate recession. You seem calm, and you guys are traveling around the country. And how can you be so calm when all this uncertainty and crazy is going to happen?
We got this.
Yep.
We do. You know, I'll tell you why. Because going into it, we've been ready. Do I have cash? Yep. Do I have property? Yep.
Partners.
Do I have a ton of paid for assets? Yep. Do I have an amazing partner who knows what he's doing and listens and we're on the same page 99% of the time? Yep. Trying to think what else. Do I worry about deal flow? Nope. Do I want to spend some of my cash coming up? Yep. We'll talk about that.
We've got 5 points each. Mm-hmm. 5 ways that your land business needs to be adjusted, not eliminated, not dramatically changed,
not kicked to the curb, not abandoned, not abandoned, adjusted. That should have been the topic.
Jill just listed a few of them and listed several.
Don't abandon your land business. That is the wrong thing to do. And many people do. That's reality.
My goal by the time we get to the end of this is that you have the same confidence that Jill does.
Thank you.
Each week on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum. And we take a deep dive into the land-related topics, usually by popular request from our Land Academy community. Single question today.
What does usually mean? It may not be by popular request. You just like it.
Yep. Sometimes.
By popular meaning one person wanted it.
Once in a while, we get, and this happens in Discord about once every quarter, maybe once every other month. Some topic explodes.
Okay.
Some land-related topic just explodes, and I create a question that will answer all of it.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
So Evan wrote, I just want to share a quick reminder that the right agent changes everything. I bought a commercial property back in March of 2023 for $53,000. I hired a local agent that I thought was a good fit. She put together a good listing, appeared to promote the property, and communicated well. After listing it for a year, she never brought one offer. I gave a listing to a Mossy Oak agent that did a great job selling a residential property for me. He listed the property for $150,000, the same price as when the listing expired with the first agent, and brought me a $135,000 cash offer in 3 weeks. We closed 30 days later. Lessons learned: really spend time researching / interviewing your agents, and no 12-month agreements. Oh, that's my Bible, my land Bible. It's 6 months tops.
This question, I put it in here specifically because it bleeds into our actual topic for today. But if you don't have the right partners, employees, life partner, you can't choose your kids. That's all of our. That's for a different topic. If you don't have the right people in your life, get the right people, or do it all yourself. You only have two options because eventually, it's going to catch up with you. I have to tell you, on a personal note, Jill's going to kick me under the desk when I say this. The people and the experience that we have had from an employee standpoint and a partnership standpoint on the land side of this business for 2 decades now, 15, 20 years almost, have been nothing short of amazing. It's the reason that we make a ton of money.
Buying and selling land.
Yes, buying and selling land on the land side only.
Yeah.
That is not the case with our other companies, specifically Land Academy. It's incredibly difficult to staff that company for some reason. And
other companies.
And other companies that we have.
Yeah, it's hard.
We've bought and sold and acquired and started several companies since we've started in the lifespan of the 10 years that we've had Land Academy. And it's tough. Staffing's tough. This is just a glare. I love this question. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate it. It's just it says it in a really brief, concise way. It's very frustrating.
Every now and then, as we're out traveling the country like we are now, and we stumbled across this really cool rock show this weekend, a gem and mineral show here in Creed, and I'm like, maybe that's my new little side business. You think I'm kidding? I mean, I'm telling everybody. I'm like, there's something else we could do too. We got this. All right, this is going to be fun because you're right. Some of the things that we're talking about right now, they're tripping into my 5. So
today's topic: 5 ways your land business needs to be adjusted, we think, for the 2024 and 2025 real estate environment. Jill, go. What's your number 1? You know what? Before we actually get into the 5, I'm going to briefly describe, please, let's do this together.
Okay.
What's going to change in the environment if it already has not? It's going to change, trust me.
Oh, okay. Well, people are freaked out about money. People are freaked out about politics. People are freaked out about interest rates and staying in their home. People are freaked out about their jobs. What else you want to add in there?
Well, I'll tell you, that's all true. And that's going to get worse. I believe that the job scenario in the country is going to get, over time, worse. There's going to be less jobs and more unemployment. But on the real estate environment specifically, there will be more property inventory. There already is way more inventory than there was over last year. We look at that on our Thursday webinar, closed Thursday webinar to all Land Academy members, and we study it in detail. There will be more willing sellers. In fact, there'll be a lot more. Why? Because there's so much property on the market. And the stuff that Jill described, if you own several pieces of land or a couple of extra houses and stuff starts going sideways in your financial life, you start to sell the things that you don't need.
Yep.
And so that's what we're here for. What do we always say? We are here to buy assets under their actual current value from people who no longer want them. And that usually means they're experiencing some type of life event. Well, geez, this is life event. This was about to be life event central. It will also be more difficult for you to sell the property that you're about to acquire. Why? There's more property on the market. So how do you rectify that? Well, that's what these 5 points are about. My number one is you will have to send more mail. You just will. And you want to. This is not a negative thing. This is a positive thing. You know, this is a time where you can buy some serious undervalued real estate. Like if you're a person, and Jill and I have a lot of people in our lives socially that love to rent property. My sister has like 30 or 40 rentals. I don't understand that. It's not our thing. We've tried it, and you know, with very few exceptions, we have a bunch of rentals, but they're all rented to people that we know, and they just get paid on.
Or they're related to us.
Now is the time to buy rental property. Yeah, they're related to us.
They're related to us, and that really stinks because the money's not always consistent.
We don't.
But anyway, we're not there to make money off of them. That's our point. Our rentals are not there for real income producing.
Our rental properties are one of many nonprofit organizations that we have.
That's it. That ties back into our companies.
So my
We
number
have a few that are nonprofit.
Yes.
It's good. It's about to be personalfat.org, landacademy.org. We might still have that.
We do.
Oh, good. We'll bring that back.
It's always been a .org, by the way.
We'll bring that back.
So you have to not only, this is still my number one, send more mail. In addition to that, you need to consider changing your message.
Oh my gosh.
Look, here's the thing.
This ties into mine. This
Here's
is
the
so
thing.
good.
We have so much more information at our fingertips than we did during the last recession. Last recession was about 2009 for us. It went technically from about 07 to 11. It caught up with us really in a material way in around 2009. We didn't even really know. We had RealQuest back then, which is a subpar a data company that was just assessors, databases. Geez, we know everything now. We know the person's credit score that's receiving our letter. We know who they're married to. We know
mortgage, all about the mortgage
everything.
Information. Exactly.
So you can pick and choose very intelligently who gets your mail. We know what level of education they have. And so when you start to really look at the different message that you can send somebody, we know when their mortgage is, if they have an adjustable rate mortgage, when it's going to actually become due. Mm-hmm. When the mortgage is going to go from 3% to 5%, let's say, and we know what the value is going to be. That person has any land or extra houses laying around, they're going to be interested in selling. You can time it. So they get it. You get your letter or your correspondence 2 weeks after their mortgage changes dramatically.
You can time it to hit then, is what you're saying.
And my final point to number one is the tools that we have available to us about selecting who gets mail are extraordinary now. You know, you've probably heard, if you're in the real estate business, people focusing on probate. When somebody dies, there's an estate. There's usually people, I know this from personal experience, there's siblings and people that are involved and I don't want to, what are we going to do with mom's house? I don't want it. Neither one of us live in that state. Let's just sell it. If you start sending it, people have been working probate because it's public information. It's called, what I've heard them call it, working probate. Are you bored?
No, I'm listening. I'm waiting for my turn. You're good. You're on a roll.
Well, man, times 80 is the amount of information we have about people and their real estate now. So please dig around the internet and find new tools. We are.
Your number one is my number two. Mine was not only, really taking a look at and adjusting or increasing, I should say, your mail volume, but also be open to all kinds of other ways of how you're reaching sellers. You know, there's other touch points that you can do to further enhance how you're doing it. I don't want you to put all your eggs in one basket because we've watched it change over the years where we think email is the bomb and then it's not. And texting would be the bomb and then it's not. But you could, and even social media, that's been going on for, 5 to 10 years in Land Academy. People are like, I send a mailer out, then I make sure this pops up on their Facebook. You could tie all this stuff together. So you could get creative But like I said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because still the most efficient, especially for some of the people that we're reaching, they're old school, is getting that letter and they hang on to them. And that's the thing too. If you text someone, how many times have you had to text and you're like I was looking for one today, literally looking for a Durango RV wash person, and I'm having to scroll through and find them, right? But if I had a letter, they hang on to that stuff. They'll have that forever. It'll be on the fridge. It'll be in their file. So that's why enhance it. Don't 100% pivot yet anyway. And if there is a pivot, you're in Land Academy and we'll let you know.
A couple of weeks ago, what we're really saying is you need to have deal flow, and more deal flow that you have during this downturn, because it's packed full of people that are having life changes and they're more willing sellers than in an upturn. You need to have a bunch of deal flow. So the last mailer, every time I do a mailer, I get it all done and I bring Jill in and I say, take a look at this before I push the button, and we'll just look at it together for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And this last time, she looked at me and said, I don't know what was going on that day with her, but she looked at me and said, is this mailer going to generate 10 deals a day? 10 opportunities a day, not 10 deals, 10 properties to look at. And I said, no, are you kidding? No way. She said, well, can you call me back in here when it does? And so I added thousands and thousands more of units. And I said, this is probably going to generate 10. And then she said, cool, let's send it.
Okay, of my top 5 things to change here, how you would need to adjust your business, consistent deal flow is my number 5. So you just that's 2 of mine, mail volume and consistent deal flow. So we got that out of the way.
All right. Maybe there's 10, not 5 today.
Okay.
My number 2 is the way that you will be talking. The sellers are going to be much more interested and open to receiving your letter and talking about selling their property, whether it's a house or a piece of land, than they would have been, let's say 2 years ago, when interest rates were sub 3% and there was nothing for sale because everything would get sold. And so that requires you to adjust to that. It's going to be more intense. It's going to be more emotional. And specifically in the cases of houses, you're going to have to, there's some hand holding that's going to go on.
You have to be cool about this. It's a tough situation. Like I can think of one in particular right now, which is a house where the family's a little cocky. They haven't really done their homework. They think it's worth way more. They don't know the market. They haven't looked to see what else is out there. So everything that you're saying is true. They don't know that. So my point is you have to be careful how you let them know. Like, there's a nice way to say, hey, you're one of 10 on your block, right? Versus just saying it like that. And they may, like I said, they may not know. They're still in their head, have this dreamy thing from 2 years ago when they inherited the house, and now nobody uses it anymore. And so they think it's still worth fill in the blank. And so it's tough, but so what I do in this situation is I gently let them know the current market and the situation, and then I come back to them in a couple days or maybe even weeks when it depends on what you're buying too. But sometimes you have to give them a little time to have them get it out, just to realize that, oh shoot, she's right. This is our chance. And that's the thing. I nicely let them know, like, if you want to sell, I'm going to be your option. I'm probably going to be your only option. You can do it now, or we can do it in 90 days from now. Let me know what you think.
I'm going to ask you a professional question about sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think sellers get their notion of what their property's worth?
From the coffee shop down the street, where they overheard a story of a story of a story of a story that somebody got top dollar.
That's exactly what I think.
Mm-hmm. And they don't know that that's agricultural. They don't know that it was, it had been 100% remodeled, studs up, all that stuff. All they heard was
$1 million.
Yeah, he got $1
You
million.
got $1 million for that house?
Wow.
I bought this thing
Well,
6 years ago. I only
shucks.
paid $300,000.
Wow, well, then we can do that. We
My
could get
house is worth $1
1.2.
million.
And it's really worth 600,
Yep.
maybe on a good day.
In fact, the time that you've lived there is deteriorated more. It hasn't improved.
Yeah. So that's the reality.
So
It's
my
tough.
point is, during this downturn, you're going to get a little bit less, probably substantially less if you do the mailer right, pushback on price. So price it low. There will be more people calling you back saying, let's do this deal.
So you just started to lean into, they're going to be less hesitant, I guess, or more amenable, you think? So I'm going to jump into my number 4 because it ties into this.
Sure.
My number 4 in this situation is when you're talking to these sellers, they see what's going on. You get them on the same page. My number 4 is faster closes on the buy side and the sell side.
So you believe that? Wow.
Mm-hmm. That is so important to me. I think is a good pivot. You need to be fast. You guys agree? Do it. Get it in escrow. Get it closed. Done. And even when you sell it, don't let any chance of anybody changing their mind, anything like that. Just get them done.
Look, on the sell side, on that note, you need to make sure as a real estate investor that your property, stuff goes sideways in deals. Time kills deals. That's what Jill's saying. If your property, stuff comes up in your property on the sell side that nobody knew about, not even you, if it's priced so much lower than the regular average in that market of like-kind properties, then it's still going to close. It is so important. Price is so important in a downturn like this. Mm-hmm. You have to buy it cheap.
So well, and price it so well, and get the right agent. Like Evan, like the question we talked about earlier today, that breaks my heart that he had to sit for 12 months with this agent who did nothing. And then he finally finds the right person. So that's why I always go into these situations when I have a broker. Most of our properties are sold that way. And the conversation is always the same. What do you think you could sell it for? And let's just say 90 days. That's what we're going for. Not 5 days, 90 days. I want to be aggressive, but I'm not trying to, hold out for top dollar. And then after we all agree on a price, then I go, great, let's do a 6-month listing agreement. And if they go, why? Because I just said we're all going to agree on 90 days. And if it doesn't happen in 6 months, we'll talk about it. We'll figure, we goofed on something and we'll adjust it together. And then no one ever pushes back. So these 6-month agreements are no problem. You shouldn't be stuck for a year.
My number 3 is please very seriously consider acquiring a more diverse types of properties that you have looked at in the past. If you just buy and sell land and you do it successfully, congratulations, you've figured it out. Now, please consider adding houses. Small properties in rural environments, small SFRs, single-family residences, mobile homes, commercial real estate. All commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is experiencing. Commercial real estate is a first to go, and they're experiencing a huge downturn. I just reviewed a motel in Michigan as an acquisition candidate. Jill doesn't even know this. I did it yesterday.
Mm-hmm. No, true. I don't know about it.
And the price.
Did you buy it?
No.
Okay.
It's right on the lake or one of the lakes and all that. So it was a great piece of property.
A room
it's a
for
great
you,
opportunity.
a room for me, a room.
It was too expensive.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't, I don't know. It's be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Even if I shaved $500,000 off of it, even then I'd be like, I don't know if we can resell this. It's such a specialty property. But
Got it.
The point is, I looked at it as an acquisition candidate. So I'm not saying go off and buy a golf course at all. What I'm saying is, please add these types of properties to, you already have the data. As a Land Academy member, you have all the data for this stuff and all the information that you need. Why wouldn't you just add it and then run through how the changes, what are the differences between buying land and buying a house, buying land and buying a mobile home? There's a few caveats, but they're not that different. The pricing and all that stuff is all the same.
Your number 3 is my number 1. That's exactly what I had down.
That's a little scary.
Isn't that weird? We did truth time, of course. We always do that. We didn't talk about this. I said, what's the topic? I go off and do my thing. He does his thing. I sit down. I have my notes, and I'm like, it's funny how often we are on the same page. So my number one is
I'm going to write that down.
trolling.
This is what the sentence Jill just said.
Uh-oh.
It's funny how often we're on the same page. I'm going to remind you of that in a few minutes.
Okay. We're not on the same page.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, when it comes to this, we are. How's that? Okay. So this is my number one for this whole thing, which is trolling and making constant adjustments with the type of properties that you're buying, the money that you're spending, and where you're doing it. My main thing is go and buy whatever people are looking for. That's
brilliant.
it.
How do you do that?
By trolling.
How do you know what they, just by trolling?
Yeah. It's pretty easy for me to pop in right now, and I can just move my mouse all around the country and see, what closed in the last 30 days and where everything's sold between $150,000 and $200,000. Ding, ding. Whatever it is, then you zero in on that.
Here's how you know what everybody wants. It's pending.
Or that.
Pick a zip code out. Go out on Zillow or Realtor or anywhere. Click on it. Say, I want to look at property in this zip code. And then you want to choose all the stuff that's pending. If what's pending in that environment is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built after 1970 but before 1990, SFR, that's on an acre of property, and on and on and on. Whatever, and so that's a profile. You've profiled that, and it's $350,000. Everything that's on the market above $400,000 is still for sale and aging on the market. Everything below 400 seems to be pending. That's what everybody wants.
This stuff, this is drinking water for you. This is very true. You have it down. We'll drive different areas, and you've already done your every time we're going somewhere, he's already researched the area thoroughly before we get there even. And then while you're there, we're cruising through town, you're finessing, you're adding little tweaks to yourself. Like, okay, that's exactly what that property looked like. Or, I thought these looked a little bit better online, but now I got a good feel for it. But it's fun for me because I can go, okay, where's the sweet spot?
Here's next week's show.
Uh-oh.
Buy what everybody wants.
Yeah.
How to buy what everybody wants. Seriously, I'm going to write that down.
Okay. Yeah. But that's it. I love it. So, and that's part of how to buy what everybody wants. Jack and I talk about this all the time. There's a break point. I go, what's the breaking point, babe? He goes, okay, in this town, it's $500,000. In this town, it might be $150,000. And in this town, it might be $800,000. Or Jackson, Wyoming, it might be $4 million. Yeah. That's the break point. So you have to know these markets.
I just think it's brilliant that it's, some of the most brilliant stuff is so obvious. No one says it. But you need to buy what everybody wants.
What if they don't see it?
Why would you buy a mobile home in a place where every single mobile home is aging on the market?
True.
And that
150 days on market.
And the municipality is dying to get rid of all mobile homes in that environment. Why would you go buy those?
True.
And then wonder why they can't sell. There's so much common sense in that. Every single house in the one zip code that has one bathroom, because it was built in 1890, is on the market. Every single one that is under $300,000 that has 2 bathrooms is pending. You get to send the mail out that reflects that. I'm
going to argue that people have been told to do something and they didn't take a step back to sit and go, that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And that's why we're here. And that's what we do. This is Land Academy. I'm not here to tell you, go mail here, do this area. Because you know what? In 6 months, it's going to be different. And this is all Jack. Jack's whole thing is he's teaching you how to find this stuff and look for the triggers and then pivot when you need to and go over here and go over there. And just like this whole discussion today.
So everything north in my example is north of 400,000 is sitting on the market, and everything south of $390,000 with 2 bathrooms is pending. Then what do? You send out mail for about $325,000, and you're going to find somebody or multiple people within that zip code who are experiencing a life event and just want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
That's our whole business model for decades. We've been doing that and teaching it, and it works. Or with some fundamental micro changes, which is what this show's about today.
Exactly.
Adjusting. Now, my number 4, if you're ready,
Yep.
is we have chosen to, this may or may not be right for you, to buy fewer properties, do fewer deals with larger profit margins. So this year, I'm guessing we will probably do 12 to 15 deals that make
them
us
count.
$100,000 to $150,000 net each. So you can do the math on that. It's a pretty good year.
Maybe more.
With not a lot of work, right? Maybe more.
We're only halfway through.
Right.
Things change. Stuff's going to come up. More opportunities are going to come up. So I expect that to be more.
There are more opportunities, like we just said. The market produces more inventory in times like these, more willing sellers, better prices, and all of that. What that allows us to do, and this may or may not be true for you, it allows us to have a larger pipeline of property, and it allows Jill, and I actually learned this from her probably 3 years ago, starting around 3 years ago, to really just, she looks at the deal in 13 seconds and says, yep, and that's it. And it's because it's easy enough for her to do. It's profitable enough. When a bunch of stuff goes wrong, it still closes. You know, it's not just we bought it for 125 and sold it for 210. It's not just that. It's everybody's alive. She's got a good feeling from the seller. You know, whatever their circumstances, they're buddies now. The deal's going to get done. There's more to it for her. So I'd rather, if all that stuff's going to go on, I want to do a bigger deal.
Right.
I don't want to just do smaller deals.
This just came up in Discord today. I responded to somebody who put a note like, "Hey, I'm still learning. You know, what are you guys doing with these deals that are too small for your current acquisition criteria?" And so this person's looking to scoop them up, and I'm like, "Hold on a moment. Just make sure you are the what did I say? Make sure that the profit is worthy of your time, because do you really want to do a $3,000 deal? You're going to make $3,000, or do you want to make 30? And my note to him was what if it even takes an extra couple weeks, but you're going to make 30,000 versus a couple doing 3,000? I'd rather you spend your time on the 30. And for me, it really does take less time on the ones where I'm making more money, because I got agents involved and this person doing this and that person doing this. I'm not doing any of the work. If I'm out there buying for 1,000 and selling for 4, I'm doing my own listing. I'm selling it. I'm taking my own calls, all of that. And it's not worth my time.
To cap my number 4 about doing fewer but bigger profit margin deals, in good times, you might review 20 acquisitions and buy one, maybe 20 to 30. It's a big round number. In times like these, you might review 100 deals. And believe me, if you review 100 deals, there's one good one in there. There's probably 10 good ones in there. But my point is, you can look at it that way. For every 20 deals in good times, I buy a property that we review. I buy one property. In bad times, like now, I don't review 100 deals and buy 5. That's still 20 to 1. We don't do that. We look at it like, wow, we've got such a huge choice here now. We're going to make it count.
I still pick the best ones.
That's what I mean.
I'm going to do all of them.
From
it's
a
like
bigger,
I don't have
big pool.
That's the nice thing. I don't have to worry about I only can afford 5. No, I got other people's money. I can afford in Land Academy. I can do 50 if I want to. Doesn't matter. This is good.
Should I do my number?
And you also.
Should I move on, or do you?
Yeah, because I have one more left, and I think, so your number 5 and my number 5 are so different. Go for it.
Okay. This is not so much economics tied, but sign of the times from an information technology AI standpoint. Things are changing so rapidly with tech and the internet and all kinds of stuff. God knows what the real implications are of that. What the real unintended consequence is of AI, we'll never know. But there are consequences. I don't care what your age is or what your background is, or if you can't stand the internet, or if you just are in love with it, or everything in between. You have to embrace the new technology and the new data sets and how to send mail and where to send mail. You have to embrace that. And in a downturn, it's a great time to look at all that stuff, because there's people going out of business, new people that are amazing at data that are coming up, that are creating products for us to use to buy and sell real estate. all this gray hair on my head, I know how to do deals, but technology is not my thing. And so these kids that are coming up with all these IT products, some of them are great. They don't even know how great, because it's my job to interpret the data that I'm looking at, or the tool, or the AI version of whatever it ends up being, and making better real estate choices. That's the gap. And so embrace this. You have to embrace it, and you have to apply your wisdom. I have many, many, many examples of companies that we've all heard of, iBuyers. That didn't work because we have tech people from Palo Alto creating products like Zillow, believing that they can create a 3% margin real estate deal, and they can't. They don't know what they're doing. They can't close a deal like Joe can. So use that technology and your real estate experience. That's my number 5.
Thank you for not saying the gray hair was because of wives and children. I was waiting for that.
Kids are all out of the house, and I'm happy all of a sudden.
Okay, good. Oh, thanks. All right. So here's and I love that. I can't tell you how, like you said, that your gray hair, and I have it too, is we've been around the block. You see things coming, you see things go. Everybody thinks, I'm already seeing less chatter about AI. There's so many things that were the bomb 8 years ago, and now we don't even talk about them. They're like, that didn't work. I've even seen, how many people do we know that are really backing off? I'm saying young people too, backing off many or all social media platforms. We thought that, I still believe in all that. There's a lot of that, but it's not every single new platform is the bomb, and I'm involved in every single one anymore. People pick and choose, what they focus on. It's so interesting, and it's probably going to change.
Oh, geez.
What we're all, into right now is going to be different in 6 months, probably from now, definitely 6 years from now. And by the way, we've had Land Academy over 6 years, let alone our whole business model. So you're going to have to do this too.
I just saw an interview, not recently, but with George Lucas, the guy, Star Wars. And he said, think about what movies were like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1924, what was the movie like? And then he said, now think about what they're going to be like 100 years from now.
Yeah.
The technology changes.
I was even watching a movie that was like 30 years old going, wow, look at how our backgrounds have changed. All the I'm trying to think of what they would use, the special effects.
Yeah, CGI.
How the special effects have changed in the last 30 years, even the last 10 years. It's amazing and cool.
That's how much your real estate business will change, by the way.
And if you're not ready and you don't accept it and roll with it, you won't make it. So my number 5, this is I think you're going to love this. And I'm surprised it's not on your list. Even in your land business, you need to think about a lean and mean staffing situation. You might need to go back to some things just to save money and allocate your resources where they should be spent. Think about answering your phones. Do you really want to overdo it on your Pat Live bill or whatever you're using? You need to put that money into we're going to get the best bang for your buck, which is pretty much buying properties.
Yep. It's all in the acquisitions and then choosing the right real estate agent, which is why I put Evan's question in here. Or really, it was a statement.
So if you're lean and mean and you're doing a lot of the work, right, and you have agents selling it for you, that takes that out of the picture for you. And if you don't have time to scrub your data, you can outsource that, and it's not a full-time employee. That's my big thing. Oh, I'm buying an acquisitions manager. This comes up all the time. I'm doing great, so I'm hiring an acquisitions manager, Jill. Should I pay him a salary or commission? I'm like, well, hold on a moment. Let's stop for just a second. How much time do you really need? How many deals we're talking about here? You don't really need to overpay someone 40 hours a week and then find stuff for them to do. A lot of people do that wrong.
So let's break down what Jill's saying from a numbers perspective. If you are interested in making between $5,000 and $150,000 a month, you do not need any additional employees.
Yeah.
You need to send out, however this works for you, send out the right mail to the right people, and it's priced right. Oh, Jack, I don't know how to do that. I suck at Excel and I don't want to learn. Fine. Find somebody like me. You need to answer your phone correctly and create real estate deals and get them purchased. Oh, Jack, I'm a data person. Find somebody like Joe. Good. That doesn't require any expense.
A partner.
A partner.
Who's doing deals with
any
you.
Expense at all. It doesn't require whatever it's utilizing what you're good at before you found Line Academy. It utilizes what you're good at. If you want, so you need to, if you're doing between 1 to 2 deals, whatever the profit margin is a month, all you need is what I just described.
Yeah.
If you want to send it to the moon like we do, you need between 1 and 2 additional employees, which is what we have, 2 employees
There you
on the
go.
land side. And geez, we've had $10 million years. So it's not complicated. I think people make it complicated. You don't need a big staff. And in a perfect world, those people that you have working for you are variable costs, not fixed costs, meaning you do a deal, they get paid. Not they have a salary and they're sitting there. We have multiple companies, so we have chosen the salary route, and it works for the people that are there. And they're happy and we're happy. Let's put it that way.
We have different kinds of companies, but not for our land companies. It's very different. This has been great.
You have something inspirational to share, Jill?
Well, I wanted to just kind of wrap it on this for me. This is when we watch people go away, and what's happened before. I've watched people, over the years, these tough times, they were not ready for it. They couldn't weather the storm. They overspent. They had tons of seller financing. Maybe even they did a terms where they're, I haven't heard about it a lot lately, but people are like, hey, you can, buy a property and then sell it on seller financing, just take the triage in the middle there. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I want to make you aware, and I want to make sure you're making smart decisions and you're here listening. So hopefully that's why you're here. I don't want you to abandon your company. You should not have to abandon your land
Totally
company.
agree.
You could scale it up, scale it back, however it needs to be, but you should not have to abandon it. If you do, it's on you.
Yep.
That's my...
Even if you have to shelve it. Stuff works.
Do a deal a month. Maybe we're doing a deal a week. I don't know, make it a deal a month and make it count. And get yourself out of that hole.
You don't need any money.
If you have to. If there is a hole, it shouldn't.
If you're out there finding great deals and securing them, creating great deals and securing them, that's all that. You don't have to have any money.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go out on the Discord, Land Academy's Discord channel, and 60 people will beg you to finance the deal or partnership the deal.
Like over the years, the people that I saw that didn't make it was because of their financial decisions. It's not deal flow. It's not the deals. It's not stuff like that. They just didn't know how to position themselves and buy the assets.
That's my talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's a perfect segue.
I'm like, oh, I just got to look. I'm like, what did I say?
No, it's perfect. It was a good look.
All right, take it.
Look, my advice right now, or my inspirational portion here, before we wrap the episode up, is if you're young and this is your first time, this is a perfect time for you to look straight into the mirror and say, now I'm making different choices. I am making permanent financial change in my life. Here, and this is what happened to me the first time. I got rid of all the debt that I had. One way or the other, I got rid of it. It's not a pretty thing to go through. And hopefully you have to do it alone. I did it alone with now Jill around, fortunately. So, we're still together.
Wait. I got confused. Was it better alone or better not alone?
Way better alone.
Oh, okay, got it.
I don't know. Maybe that's a guy thing.
Okay, it's better alone, but that does not mean file for divorce, babe. But I gotta get through this financial pickle, and then I'll call you in a year.
Maybe the person you're married to is the reason that you have all these problems.
Wait a minute.
So maybe some permanent change needs to happen there.
Well, that doesn't mean kick people to the curb. We could get on the same page, I hope. Sheesh.
My point is, if
Yin and
you
yang.
get rid of all your debt, all of it,
That's true.
permanently.
It's true.
Oh, Jack, leverage is the way you make money. Yep, you're absolutely right. Leverage for a certain personality type and someone who sleeps, eats, and breathes like it's in their veins, capitalization and how things are capitalized and utilizing leverage, those people they do utilize debt correctly. For the rest of us, and I include myself in this, it's not a good idea. It's very difficult. Think about it. I know a person who owns a bar. Jill and I do.
Only one?
They started this bar. Their parents started this bar
Yeah.
in like the 40s. It's on a very popular corner in Scottsdale, in Old Town Scottsdale. They own the building and they own all the land around it. They only take cash and they do not serve food. And they print money because even in the worst of times, they just don't have any expenses. They pay property taxes and they don't even pay labor because when it's down in a downturn, it's variable cost. Labor is a variable cost for them. You want your business to be like that. You want your life to be like that. In the worst of times, you just don't have any bills. Or you can sell assets, even if they're below cost. Jill and I have been through this, just to eat because you don't have any debt. Debt will kill you, including mortgage debt, as we're seeing now with these adjustable rate mortgages again.
I'm not worried. Are you worried? Same thing.
I'm not worried 1%.
I'm looking at our all that you have us really well diversified, and especially in the property. I'm not worried about the things right now that I have for sale. I just wrote a note to Jan. I'm like, we missed a boat on this one property with this agent. I can't put a mobile on it. It's got a few things we love. It was a kind of a could be personal use. We're still not sure. I just wrote her a note back today in Airtable, and I said, you know what? It expired. It's not going to be what we want it to be. And so I said, let's just revisit it in the spring and let's just maybe relist it then with a good agent, a different agent. Just, okay. I don't have to worry about it.
Nobody cares.
I don't care.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And that, you know
I'm
what?
not going to fire sale it.
I'm sure that's the right decision too. It's a calm, no one's got a gun to your head decision. And it's not like you need to, make payroll next month or anything
it's not
like
going
that.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a great example. Join us next Wednesday for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.